Okay, last week I showed a picture of a gourd that had a whole bunch of steel plugs inserted into it. Here's an example of some of the steel plugs inserted into a scrap piece of gourd. So I thought I'd show you how easy it is to inset different things. On this scrap piece I have a piece of inset turquoise and also an inset button. And buttons are actually the first thing that's easiest to learn on because they have a shank. You can see I've prepared a second hole down here that's got a place that the button shank can fit down into. So while you're working with the piece, it's held in place by the button shank. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've inset some different things in here, and then I've also created a drawing of an opening for the next pieces. So we're going to show how to inset some of those. I'm going to take these out before they fall out. And you'll only need a couple of different burrs to do this. The first burr you're going to use is just a simple ball burr. This is a Dremel ball burr. And what I'm going to do is where I have drawn these circles, I'm going to just take off most of the skin using the ball burr. And I'm not going to try to get the opening perfect at this point. The trick is not to remove your pencil line because your pencil line was drawn on the outside. When you go to draw your stone, let's say I wanted to draw the opening for this one, there are some tricks you can use. I've laid it on here and drawn around it, but if it gets where it's sliding around on you, you can use some of this like poster tack, little globs of sticky stuff, and put it on the back of your stone and then press it down onto the gourd and then trace around it, and that way it won't slide while you're working. Okay, so I've got my circles drawn and I'm going to start by opening some of those circles up with the ball burr. So let's do a couple of them here. Okay, those are just rough approximations of the opening that I'm going to create. So let's start with a small one. Here's a small steel plug that I'm going to inset. I've already created an opening for this one. Now I'm going to create the opening in here. So I've removed the skin, and once I've removed the skin, now I can switch burrs. So what I'm going to use are these diamond burrs. I have different sizes and shapes of diamond burrs. Here's a set of 3. I sell these on my website as sets, and then I sell some of these smaller ones as singles. And the neat thing about the diamond burrs is a lot of times, because stones and other things are often sized in millimeters, the diamond burrs are also sized in millimeters, and you can sometimes pick out one that matches pretty closely to the size of the stone that you're trying to inset. For example, on this steel plug, where is it? Okay, here it is. On the steel plug, here is one that matches identically to the shape of the size of the steel plug. So I'm going to put that in my tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hold this at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm going to rock it forward. And what's going to happen is I'm going to end up with a perfectly flat bottomed hole. And let's test fit and see if the stone fits in. It fits. It's not very deep. It fits nicely. But I'm going to go back and I'm going to enlarge it or deepen it a little bit so that it will sit down even deeper. Okay, that fits in there nicely. All you'd have to do is glue it in. For the next stone, because it's larger, I'm going to pick up a slightly larger headed burr. And it doesn't matter if the burr is exact, because you can always enlarge the hole using other burrs, and I'll show you that in just a second. So let's do the next bigger sized hole here. rock it. Then we're going to test fit the next size plug. And this fits in there very well. It's a good match. Let's go to the next biggest one. Now in this case, I didn't have an exact match, so I'm going to start the hole with the same burr. But I know that it's not going to be quite big enough. So I'm going to switch to something that will let me cut more outside. This burr is just a thin wheel, so what I want is something that has side that I can use to grind the outside edge. So I'm going to switch to an inverted cone shape here and just enlarge that hole slightly by going around the inside of the hole. Then I will test fit, and it's perfect fit. See? Stuck on there really well. So that's how you inset stones very quickly. I've gotten where I can set these in there in almost no time at all, just by starting the hole first with the ball burr and then following along with the diamond burr. And I use that to do my most recent gourd that probably had 200 little steel plugs in it, and it took me about an hour to do all of those insets. Thanks for watching.